The Commute, episode 4. New theme song? I don't know. Here we go. Turn the wipers off because yesterday's 40 degrees means today's rain. I do love a good storm after a heat wave. It's always interesting, or at least somewhat fun. So the little mounting thing is still not working. I had an idea as I was getting in the car today of an elastic band to go around it and be really high tech. So we'll try that tomorrow on the last day of the week. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, I'm pretty annoyed by that little mounty thing. Because I think I might have said yesterday, I'm trying not, now you can tell I'm going around a slight bend here because we're on an angle, because I'm holding it on the wheel. So if something important happens driving wise, I will of course be letting go and you will experience important driving from the floor. No, I lost what I was going to say. Oh, it was so... the first two episodes were really good. Yesterday's and today's, not so good. Okay, let's dip into the mailbag. And we're done. No one's messaged me. Come on, people. This is going to get really boring for everyone involved if people don't start interacting. Anyway. Finally got around to watching the Golden Globes last night. Didn't feel that Ricky was as good as previous years. There's a theory, I'm a big fan of the TV show Fawlty Towers, and John Cleese in interviews has pointed out that by the time they got to the second series, which was 4 years after the first series, they were already up against unreal expectations because people remembered the first season as being averagely as good as the actual highlights. So if the really funny bits were here and the average was here, everyone actually felt that the average was up here because they just remembered the highlights. So coming into the second season, it was incredibly hard to make a good enough show because everyone was expecting brilliance all the time. I think that's what's happened with Ricky. He had a year off and now he's back and he had a few good jokes. That Caitlyn Jenner joke was just brilliant. Because even though some people are upset by it, it's not transphobic or anything of that kind of stuff. It made a point that that person, before he transitioned to her, was involved in a motor accident that caused a death. There's no doubt about that. It happened. If you can't make fun of someone who makes that kind of mistake and then goes on and focuses about his gender reassignment, then I don't know what you can make fun of. The Mel Gibson bit was brilliant. Loved that. But unfortunately the average, come on Mercedes van, let me in, thank you. The average wasn't really up to his previous years, unfortunately. But what you gonna do? I still like him. Very much looking forward to the David Brent film coming out. That's gonna be great. I loved the fact that the Golden Globe seems to be the show that everyone makes, or it enjoys poking fun of it at itself. They seem to have embraced what Ricky did originally of making fun of the actual Globes and done it because they nominated The Martian for comedy. Now I've listened to the audiobook. I was about to say read the book, but I've listened to the audiobook. There are some genuinely funny moments in that book, but it's about a guy fighting for his life on Mars. I can't imagine that the actual movie was that funny. I've still got to get around to seeing it. I'm really looking forward to watching that one day. But what you gonna do? I don't know what else to talk about. I really need you people to start messaging in. And when I say you people, not the last show, but the one before, I think it was episode 2, got 1 view. So I'm talking to one person. I don't even know. It could have been me. It could have been me when I was just checking that it uploaded properly. So I'm talking to myself. Come on, Gavin. Put some stuff in. I was thinking last night, I for some reason started mucking around with an accent whilst I was sitting in front of the TV. And I thought to myself, it'd be funny to do an entire episode in accents. I've got a few ones that I quite like doing. My South African one gets me into trouble at home because apparently I'm not allowed to do South African accents. They're bad. But yeah, so that's an idea for the future. If we get past the first week, I don't know. I also had an idea of doing an audio-only version on the weekends, because I realised that if you're here in Australia, these episodes come out the day after I record them. So there's no episode on Monday, but there is episodes on Saturday. And I thought, well, maybe the Saturday episode could be an extra long one, or an audio one, or something like that. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. I've really got to prep my topics and stuff a little bit better, because I obviously am getting stumbling and not having much to talk about. As I said, I did well the first couple of episodes, but now I'm stumbling a little bit. So again, let me know if you like any of those ideas, or throw some ideas of your own out. Yeah, I'm genuinely lost. Think of something, Gavin. God damn. There was a tarp back there on the side of the road. How do you lose that and not go back for it? That's ridiculous. I'm a big fan of nature, obviously. If you know anything about me, I'm a gardener and I quite like the nature. And I love seeing new freeways and stuff that have been planted out, and then thinking what they're going to look like in the future, and hopefully coming back 20 years later and seeing all the trees grown up and stuff like that. And it's a really interesting thing as to how much of the landscape and stuff on the sides of these freeways we should have. Because I thought about it the other day, we've got these little, here in Australia, I don't know about other places, we've got these little wire ropes that when you have an accident and you go into them, the wire doesn't break and it sort of bounces you back, or it absorbs the momentum that you've got, and it's apparently safer than, say, the metal versions like what's beside me now, which just you bounce into and it hurts. And I thought, oh, they should plant more trees. And then I thought, no, because the trees don't give way at all either, do they? You go straight into them and you wrap around them. But that's assuming that people who drive bad. Maybe people should just drive better. What was I talking about? Big spikes in... big angle there. And again, such a professional show. I think I said in one of the first episodes, or maybe even in the test shows, that I always want my little ideas and stuff to be good and ready to go and just spot on straight away. But of course they're not. And this is a good example of that. This is one of those shows that is really unprofessional in a way. The camera work is absolutely terrible. The technology, not the technology, but the mounting and everything, as I said. I should stop talking about that. You're getting sick of it, aren't you? Anyway. BobbyFreakout@gmail.com. I'm getting out of this one. This is terrible. I thought yesterday's was bad. At least yesterday's was funny with the swearing. I'm getting out of this episode now. Thank you very much for listening. Like, subscribe, share. Please do all that stuff, because that would actually get more people involved, and that's what I'd like to see. I will see you tomorrow for the last episode of the week. Whether it's a long one, an audio one, or who knows what it'll be, but it'll probably be just as dodgy. Although, the elastic band may make an appearance. Thank you very much. The commute is over.